So I get asked this question pretty often. It's kind of regularly asked. It's kind of weird, but I think ever since we moved to Florida, this question gets thrown around a whole lot more often than ever before. And it's a common question of, what do you do for a living? And it's a very funny question that, Michelle and I, Squirrel Tribe, when we are sitting down to eat somewhere, or we're out having a cocktail, or just somehow, some way engaging in a conversation with some new random stranger that we just happened to meet that day. And they ask, what do you do for a living? And I don't think it's a prying question or like super nosy or anything like that. I just think that a lot of folks here where we live now, they are older generation, probably more so of like a retired generation. And this is the retirement setting. This is come to Florida to live out your golden years, so to speak. And we laugh because we don't really know how to answer that question. We don't feel like we're retired, although technically I guess we are. But we also kind of, for some reason, don't want to tell everybody that we do YouTube for a living. So we kind of like laugh about it and try to figure out exactly what to say as far as what do we do for a living. And this is a warning, folks. This is a warning for everybody out there grinding hard to accomplish the goals that you have set out for yourself. Because when you succeed, when you reach that level of success that you've been working so hard for, I'm not saying that you've been dreaming about, you've been working hard for, it's going to be interesting when you get there. And then you have this new life, and trying to adjust to it and adapt to it, which is fun. I'm going to say it's fun because you meet all sorts of different kinds of people. That to me is probably the best part about everything that we do and we have been doing and have done for the last several years, is meeting the people, meeting new people, building relationships, and making friends and making money at the same time, because it's kind of hard to pull this stuff off if you're not making any money. And we're still trying to figure out, what do we do? I guess sometimes I think that I'm like a writer. Sometimes I'm like a producer. Sometimes I am a coach. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, narrowing down, what do I say that I do? I definitely am an entrepreneur and a business owner, but I think about it in the wrong way and expect people to want to hear an answer or a response of what I think they want. Like, they want me to say that I work somewhere, or they want me to say that I am a photographer, I am a videographer, I am a video editor. Maybe I'll go with that. Maybe I'll go with video editor, because sometimes I edit these videos. But as far as what I do, and this is actually kind of strange, because Squirrel Tribe, my wife, she'll ask me from time to time, she'll say, Kevin, she knows I just finished recording a video, and she'll be like, what is it about? What was that video about you just made? I'm like, she knows this is one of the hardest questions for me to answer, because typically my videos are about so many different things. They boil down to finance and money and the economy, personal finance, building wealth, building businesses, side hustles, passive income streams, various investment vehicles, cash flow producing assets. She knows that typically that's where the video is going to go, unless it was a specific news article update or recent development or current event. But even then, they typically end up falling into the category of the former, because every single news event, the possible diesel fuel shortage crisis, inflation, CPI reports, interest rates, the housing market, the auto industry, tourism, travel, real estate, home prices, mortgage interest rates, all these things, the midterm elections, whatever, Hurricane Nicole, Hurricane Ian, anything and everything. At the end of the day, some people get confused. They get confused and they say, oh, you're obsessed with money. Perhaps maybe I'm obsessed with the idea and the functionality of money and its useful purpose as a tool to survive. But at the end of the day, every single event ties back to money, in my opinion, and for the most part, for the most part. But that is hard for me to answer because it's like, well, my video it's not about just one thing. It's about everything, all the time, which is, I guess, part of the problem. So when someone asks me, what do? I can't just narrow it down to just one thing. I can't just narrow it down to just one thing and say that's it, because there's so many pieces and components to it that I have a very hard time answering that question. So maybe it's my struggle, my problem that I can't answer that question. But if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about and knows what I mean, for instance, business owners, primarily the self-employed business owners, because I remember starting businesses, being the only employee. If someone asked what you did everything. So it was kind of hard to say, oh, well, I've got a catering business, so it's like, well, what do? You don't just deliver the food. You don't just prepare the food. You don't just do the accounting for the business. You don't just do the market. Like, you do everything. So the business owners, and especially the self-employed business owners that haven't gotten to the position yet of hiring staff and employees to take on this workload, you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, I want you to be. I want you to get there. I'm standing out here. We're over here near the water. At least I'm here by the water. I'm here solo. Squirrel Tribe kicked me out. We're having some issues at home, at the apartment. I'll fill you guys in on it later. But I'm here at the water, and I'm looking at these boats. Now, granted, I think the boating industry is a little bit different than the automotive industry, a little bit different than the housing market industry. I think it's a little bit different than the RV industry, which you guys notice that the RV industry, granted, perhaps maybe it's the time of the year, the seasonality of the industry, but I think that RV sales are going to plummet drastically and then perhaps possibly pick back up. But we'll talk about that later in another video, and the reasoning why and how and why I believe that is going to be the case. But the boating industry, as we look around, now granted, we do have a few boats to our disposal. You guys may have seen a couple videos where we were out on a center console, a sailfish center console, 24-footer. We got a pontoon boat for when the family shows up. We got a lot of people. We want to be comfortable and cruise around. My kid really likes the center console because it's faster. She loves to go fast on the water. But we're looking around and trying to decide the big boat purchase, the big boat. And it's interesting because the big boats that we look at and see, and I'll take, Michelle, how much do you think that boat costs? And we'll look it up. $2, $3, $4 million bucks. Okay? That is the realm that the big boat price range is in, and they don't have a problem keeping them in stock. They sell them. They sell them. They pre-sell them. They sell out. There's a wait list. There's no issue. And the reason why this is so important is because that's where I want everybody to be. I want everybody to be in the position to say, I'm about to go get my big boat. The reason being is I don't want people to look at a price tag and say, oh, I can't do it. That bird scared the crap out of me. I don't want people to look at a price tag and say, I can't do it. I can't afford it. Especially now, when it comes to things as simple as basic necessities like food, water, housing, rent prices, fuel prices going up. And we need to be beyond that. Inflation, it occurs. It's always occurred. It will continue to occur. You can look back over history and realize that, your parents, your grandparents, your grandparents' parents, generations before us all had made purchases, whether it be real estate, a condo, an apartment. New York City's got apartments. Miami's got apartments. Florida. Some people call them apartments. Some people call them condos. But either way, ownership, vehicles, cars, trucks. They used to be a whole lot less in price in relation to how much people earned, as well as how much perceived value each dollar would receive in exchange for the goods or services. And that's inflation. And we have survived inflation. We are here today because we have survived inflation. But we can't look at something and say it's too expensive because it requires more dollars to buy now. We need to look at things and say, okay, it costs this much now. I need to acquire more dollars. That's all it is. It's like, if we break this thing down to its simplest form, it's like eating an elephant. It becomes so much easier if you just take it one bite at a time. And that's all I'm trying to explain to you folks, is that I want you guys to be at that level. But I also want you guys to take a look at this. See if you can see this. That thing is awesome. That thing is really cool. I bet you it's fast. But that's just it. We need to be, look, check it out. Look at that. That's cool. I was never really a boat person until I got to Florida. And then we rented a boat. Don't ever rent a boat. Because you rent a boat, then it's over. It's game over. You're locked in. Then you got to buy a boat. But that's what it's all about, folks. We're going to focus on the basics, the stepping stones, the building blocks to what they don't really want you to know, which is, one, you can do it. The bikers. You can do it. And number two, there's people out there that are willing to show you how to do it. It could be done. We don't have to be continuously fall victim to the economy, which we shouldn't. The economy works for us, not the other way around. But that's the problem. Honestly, I think really that problem begins in school, K through 12 education. It progresses into college, and folks are taught at a young age and continuously reaffirmed or reminded throughout their adult life that they need to work for the economy. Like, why would you want to work for the economy? Like, you work to stimulate the economy. You work to survive the economy. You work to keep up with inflation. It should be the other way around. The economy should be working for you, so that, and this is why I say the economy is always good for some. So if the economy is working for you and things are the way they are now, where you can look at investments, you can look at stocks, you can look at crypto, they are discounted. The economy has discounted and the Fed has discounted these investments, okay? And you got to think, why? Why did they do that? Well, I'll tell you right now, they did it for them. They did it for them. Now, if you want to really know what that means, hit me up. But either way, they've discounted stocks. Crypto is discounted, okay? They are working on some other, they got other plans, is all I can say. But if the economy is working for you, all right, so if you're working for the economy and you see stock prices and crypto values plummet, you're scared, you're afraid. And this is just a warning, folks. Like, if that's you, I hate it for you, but you got to get out of that mindset, okay? You got to get out of that mindset, because if you're working for the economy and that happens, you are scared like to death. Like, you think all your money's gone. You think that you're wiped out. You think that you're cleaned out. You think your family is at extreme risk. You're just worried. You probably can't sleep. Anxiety, stress, all causing health issues at that. Ruining relationships with you and friends and family and coworkers, because you're focused on the economy, because you work for the economy. But if the economy works for you, then you're saying, wait, all these opportunities are at a discount. I'm about to scoop up some deals. I'm gonna scoop up these deals, and I'm gonna make these deals make me more money tomorrow. Obviously, tomorrow is not the next day. It's just down the road. I don't invest for the short term. I invest for the long term. So when I say tomorrow, I mean years, okay? But I'm continuously growing. I'm continuously building wealth. I'm continuously increasing my income. I'm continuously adding more passive income streams. So when I say tomorrow, I'm saying years. But when I'm saying years, I'm also saying that I don't have to wait to realize the benefits of the moves and the investments I make as I use the economy and allow it to work for me instead of the other way around. That's why I don't set an alarm to wake up. Although I wake up every single day at the same time. I wake up every day about 6 a.m. No matter what. No matter what time I go to sleep, no matter what's going, 6 a.m. Doesn't matter. But I don't set an alarm. Most folks don't have that opportunity because they are tied to the economy. They are working for the economy. Now, on the flip side, real estate. If you work for the economy, then that means you work to make your mortgage payment. You work to make your loan payments. You work to keep up. Whereas if the economy works for you, when you see interest rates drop, you jump on them. You capitalize on the opportunity. When you see home prices appreciate, you double down. And you make plans and preparations to use these assets for profit. And then, much like what we did, we sold at the height of the, we bought at the bottom. Strange scenario, actually. We sold our one house in 2020 as it was going up. At the right time where we were able to buy the next house that we caught going down because it was sitting on the market for about 3 or 4 years. Sweet little window there, and we capitalized on like a 2.7% interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage. We had to put we wanted to keep it in a conforming mortgage loan amount. So I think we had to put like 150 grand down to keep the mortgage at like $500 something thousand. I can't remember what it was. 520 or something. It's some weird number. So we put $150,000 on the house. We bought it at the bottom. And then a year and a half later, we sold it at the absolute top. I think we sold it for like $850. I think we sold it for like $850 and only carried it for a year and a half at 2.7%. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. And then from there, we moved to Florida. And now we're renting because we're not wasting money. We're not working for the economy. We're waiting to allow the economy to work for us so that we can take these gains and put them back in the market as values on real estate and property and homes and townhomes and condos, which I'm not sure where we're going to end up. Huge debate on whether it's going to be a house, a condo, or a townhome. So we're waiting for that, but we're watching the prices. They are coming down. Obviously, mortgage interest rates are going up, but the interest rates going up are putting homeowners, condo owners, townhome owners in a position that if they want to sell, they have to become attractive. So we're going to let the economy work for us to then put us in a position to pick up and capitalize on these opportunities that we have the ability to seize when they present themselves. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, we did it with the automotive side of it, selling some really cool vehicles that I kind of hate that I let go, but we made really good money on them at a time when the automotive industry was buying them up for more than what they were worth. Versus going out and trying today to go buy a car used. You try to go buy a used car, you're going to pay more than what it's worth because the dealerships, they were paying more than what they were worth when we were selling them to them. So now you're going to pay more than what they're worth used. Or if you can find a new vehicle, still considering we have the supply chain constraints and supply chain issues and semiconductor chip shortages and whatnot. Well, if you find a new vehicle, then you got to deal with the dealers and their markups because they're trying to kill the profits still. And if you can overcome those two obstacles of finding one and not paying an exorbitant amount over MSRP, then you either have to pay cash to win or you are paying extremely high interest rates because you're not using the economy. You're not allowing the economy to work for you. You're working for the economy. And that's what it's all about. It's all about, and this is how the wealthy get wealthy and how they stay wealthy, not only by owning businesses and investing, but they're as a business owner versus a self-employed, a business owner, you don't work. The business works for you. So why would it be any different when you have that approach to the economy? You shouldn't work for it. You should allow it to work for you. But they don't teach this in school. They really don't even really teach it in college. They don't teach this in K through 12. Most families, most average American families aren't necessarily teaching this because it's a foreign concept that a lot of people can't wrap their minds around, and very few have actually executed on it. And there is so much of a driving force, an outside driving force pushing the other agenda, pushing the other narrative, that most people will look at you, and when you speak and when you tell them and when you try to share this information with them, they'll think you're crazy. They'll think you're lying to them. They'll think that you're out of your mind. They'll think that it's just not possible. And I can attest to that because I have come across, like I said, meeting people is probably the best part about the position that we're in right now, is being able to have the time and ability and flexibility to meet people. And I've met some really cool people. Chris Igo, really cool people. Met him through YouTube. It's kind of strange how that worked out. He lives in Florida too, but we met through YouTube because we were both creators sharing a similar passion. And first time we met in person was actually in Los Angeles. Kind of crazy how that works out. Y'all go check out Chris Igo's channel. He's killing it down in South Florida. Tons of value, tons of huge information there for people looking to invest in real estate and make good money in real estate. Now is the time. It's always the time, but now is even more the time that you need to be preparing yourself for the next wave of growth and wealth building opportunities in real estate. I'm telling you guys, it's coming. So only for those who are ready, only for those who are prepared. But we've met some really cool people and some really cool creators. Stephen Gardner, you're on the list. Stephen, we need to come out and see you guys again. Stephen, he's got a YouTube channel, provides tremendous information and updates, and shares a lot of value and knowledge, current events, news events, every single day. He is extremely super dedicated to his work, and pleasure to have met you and consider you a friend. And not colleague, but similar field. Basically, we're both content creators trying to succeed on this platform while also trying to help people accomplish the same. But I'm not gonna lie, there's so many more people out there that I've come across in life that I try to share this idea with them, this possibility, while offering the assistance and aid, and they're afraid, they're scared because they've been taught the different for so long that their brain refuses to believe me or themselves, because really it comes down to themselves and can I do this? And that's the biggest hurdle to overcome, besides your friends and family who will tell you that's not possible, there's no way, it's got to be a scam, you can't do that, go get a good job, go get 2 jobs. When I was younger, I thought I needed to work multiple jobs to make a lot of money. That's not the case. I needed multiple streams of income, but I didn't need to clock in multiple jobs and wear multiple uniforms and work for multiple people. I didn't need to do that. I needed to have multiple streams of income coming in, more than one paycheck a week, more than one paycheck every 2 weeks. I needed multiple, but I didn't need to do it by working for someone else or multiple someone else's. And that's the thing. But folks have this it's ingrained, it's taught at an early young age, and it's hard to be untaught. It's hard to break bad habits. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, I want you guys to succeed. But in order for that to happen, you have to believe that you can do it first before anything else. And you gotta take the steps in order to make that happen, and not pass up opportunities or miss out on chances of just literally sitting down and having the conversation and applying. Even if you applied like 50% of the effort and you saw 50% of the results, be like, all right, I can do this. I can do this. Because I'll tell you right now, if you apply 100% and you get 100% of the results, you're not going to be upset. Promise you that. But who am I? What do I know? I'm just some random guy on YouTube standing here in the middle of the day in Florida out front of these $1 million boats and yachts, telling you guys how you can achieve whatever it is you want in life. Maybe I'm crazy.